What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And before we get into today's video, I just want to say if you're a fan of those Legends of the Game, then I would definitely recommend subscribing to the channel because that's all I focus on. Also, guys, if this is content that you enjoy, I would greatly appreciate it if you'd posterize that like button. Now, with that being said, let's get right into today's video. So, guys, we're doing another request build. And, this Rasheed Wallace, guys, he was in the early and late 2000s, like 2000 to 2010, of course. He was one of my favorite players to watch in the post, especially. I've always liked post players, and I don't know. It's just like with the Celtics, especially. I really felt like when Wallace when he got his opportunities. He was as good as anyone with his back to the basket at that time. Now he was still able to finish in things, really, really well as he was able to do like early on with the Bullets and with the Trailblazers. But I don't know, just on that Celtics team, it felt like he had one of the nicest back to the basket games. I really enjoyed watching it, especially when he would just kind of, back his defender down, and just do that turnaround shot from the post. I mean, it was such a nice shot. And I remember, during that time, I just really enjoyed watching him, working the post and things like that because I felt at that time he was doing that as good as anyone in the game, if not better than anyone. And Rasheed Wallace is one of those guys that I feel like is very, very underrated. I mean, you talk about a lot of power forwards from that time, Tim Duncan, you talk about KG, you talk about, guys like Chris Webber, I should say. I almost said Chris Mullin. I'm not sure why, but anyway. Chris Webber, guys like that. But guys, I mean, Rasheed Wallace was, if you've never seen him play, I mean, the guy was really, really good. He was one of my, like I said, in the post, I mean, especially on that Celtics team, I just really enjoyed watching him play. It was just really, really fun to watch, So yeah, when I got a request for this build, guys, it was really kind of excited, and then I got to thinking, I was like, well, how am I going to do this build? Like what do I feel like would be the best way to do this build? Because I want to be able to, essentially, shoot the ball pretty well because Wallace was a good shooter. I, of course, want to be able to finish around the basket. And, I do want the ability to play defense. I don't want to be a liability. And, Wallace, I mean, he could get some big shots. He was pretty good playing defense in the post. And he was a pretty decent rebounder. He wasn't great. I think he averaged like 4 rebounds a game. So he wasn't a great rebounder. But he was pretty good at playing post defense, So I wanted to have all of those things incorporated into this build, but I definitely wanted to be able to, in the post, I wanted to be able to, post up and make post shots and things, all the way out to maybe even 15 feet or so because he was just really a good shot. And of course, Rasheed Wallace, you want to be able to shoot the 3, right? Because he was a pretty decent 3-point shooter, especially for the time because it wasn't like it is today. You don't have, big men that take 2, 3, 4, at that time you didn't have guys that took, that volume of shots at that position. And, he was pretty good at it. And, kind of like a Clifford Robinson. He's another player that I may actually do a build on that I think if you put him in today's NBA with his size and his ability to shoot and things, I think he would do really, really well. But with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and let's get right into this build. So, guys, here's the thing, okay? With the pie chart, you could go, a few different ways with this. You could go with the mostly blue with a little bit less green. You could go the Hall of Fame shooting and Hall of Fame finishing, or you could go with the mostly shooting with a little bit less finishing, which is the one that I'm actually going to go with. Because looking at this, right, and looking at these builds right here, I mean they're all good, but when you put that wingspan up, you really lose a little bit of that 3-point shot, and I do want that to be at least in the 70s, right? Because we do have to go up to 610. So I want that. I want to be able to do that, and I want that incorporated in this build, and I want it to be, like I said, at least be in the 70s. And I don't think we get there if we go with one of these other builds. So we're gonna go with this one right here, and the way that we're going to do this, I mean, as far as your physical profile, guys, it's up to you. Me personally, I'm just going to go with the pure speed. As always, when I do a shooting build, I really like to focus on that speed because, well, we all know that a shooting, it really just kind of destroys, your ability, your speed, right? It just takes it all the way down to where you don't have anything. So we definitely want that on there. But what we're going to do, guys, we're going to go ahead, we're going to max out our close shot. We're going to, we're not even going to focus on our driving layup. And we're going to max out our driving dunk and our standing dunk. And we're not going to do anything with our post hook. I know that, a typical, Wallace build, you're going to have that. But I did want to put some on defense, right? So now for our shooting guys, we're going to pretty much max everything out, right? Because we want as many of those shooting badges as we can possibly get. We're going to take this up to 53, and then we're going to max out our post control, and that's going to give us 5 playmaking badges. And then for here, we're going to go ahead, we're going to max out our interior defense. We're going to max out our lateral quickness. We're going to max out our block. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to max out our defensive rebounding. Then we're going to put the rest of this up here on our offensive rebounding. So if you look at our badge layout, guys, you've got 13 finishing, 27 shooting, 5 playmaking, and 7 defensive and rebounding badges. So with this build, guys, it is pretty well-rounded. You're going to be able to do a little bit of everything with this, right? Body shape, I mean, it really doesn't matter. Of course, we're going to be 6'10", and then 225. Now, guys, here, if you wanted to, make this to where it's a much better shooter, you could go ahead and do this. But because I do want to have those other attributes that Wallace had, I'm going to go ahead and max this out. This is going to give us an increase on our block. It's going to give us an increase on our rebounding, and it's going to really take our standing dunk up quite a bit. And we're going to get a little bit of boost to our driving dunk because we do want that with the Wallace build, right? Your close shot, if you look at this, guys, once you get this maxed out, we're going to have a close shot of 99. So inside, you're going to be able to finish it with the shot pretty well. You're going to have a respectable driving layup of 75, a really good 92 standing dunk. You're going to have a mid-range of 76 with a 74 3-point shot. You're going to have a really, really good free throw, and you're going to have an impressive 95 post fade. So that's going to be all well and good. As far as your playmaking, really the only thing that we're focusing on is that post control, and you're going to have an 84 or 82 rather. So that's going to be really good as well. And your interior defense, it's not going to be the greatest. It's only going to be a 71, but with that, you're going to be able to hold your own. You're going to have an 83 block with a 60 or 71 offensive rebound, and then an 82 defensive rebound. So you'll be decent on the boards. So you won't be terrible. Now, for this, guys, this is one of the reasons why I went this route, because you've got all of these things, right? You can do rim protector if you want, to focus more on blocking shots. You could go spot up shooter if you wanted to focus more on, stretching the floor and, knocking down shots from the perimeter. But, just because, like I said in the beginning, I really enjoyed watching, Wallace play in the post during the 2000s. I felt like he was one of the best at it. So I really feel like we want to go post scorer, right? And with this, you've built an interior finisher. And we'll go ahead and we'll test the build, and we'll get those badges done, and we'll get you guys out of here. So for our 13 finishing badges, guys, of course, anytime you do a big man, you know, this is what I'm going to go for, right? I want fast twitch, I want grace under pressure, and I want rise up. I want, you know, those are three that I feel like, you know, you always want. Now, I feel like Lob City is another really, really good one to have on this one. And then the last one that I would do is I would just put Dream Shake on bronze. Now for our shooting guys, of course, you know, we're going to do catch and shoot on Hall of Fame. I feel like you want Fade Ace on Hall of Fame. Of course, you want Hot Zone Hunter. You want Limitless Spot Up. You want all of those on Hall of Fame, right? You know, because those are the main primary ones. I feel like Corner Specialist is another really good one with this build. And then we'll do Deadeye, and then we'll do Blinders on Gold. Now, if you wanted to go with something else, guys, you certainly could. But I feel like, you know, with these badges here, I mean, it makes this build to where you're just so lethal from, you know, anywhere on the court as far as shooting goes. And I just think it really, you know, really helps this build. Now for the 5 playmaking guys, I feel like you definitely want Bell out just in case you do get a bad animation when you go up. And with this build, I do like to do post playmaker on Gold, just simply because you do play in the post a lot with this build, and that, you know, that can help you with that. And of course, Bullet Passer on bronze as well. And then for our 7 defensive, we want to go we want to go Intimidator rather, because that's a good one. Rim Protector is another good one. And then for the last one, guys, it really depends on you and how you want to play this build. You know, so me personally, the one that I actually ended up going with is I went with Post Lockdown, just simply because that does help improve your defense in the post. Now, Brick Wall is another good one because you are going to be a bit underweight on this. So that would help you, you know, as far as being able to hold your own when someone's trying to back you down. But, you know, again, that really depends on you. You know, and with these badges, guys, they're always the badges that I find that work best for me. I would never say that this is the, you know, the set badges that you should use for this build, because at the end of the day, badges, I feel like they're more or less just a suggestion. And if you feel that other badges work better for you and your play style, I would definitely recommend with doing, you know, going that route as opposed to doing what I do. But with that being said, guys, I feel like this is a really good Sheed build. I mean, guys, if you've never seen Rasheed Wallace play, I would definitely recommend, you know, go watch him play, because he was a really good player. You know, he was hot-headed though. He got a lot of flagrants, and yeah, I mean, that's probably what he's most well known for now. But I mean, you know, he was still such an amazing player. He was really good, and he was very underrated in my eyes. So I do want to thank, you know, for this request, because I didn't, you know, Rasheed Wallace is one of those players that I really enjoyed watching. So yeah, with that being said, guys, if you like this video, I would greatly appreciate it if you'd posterize that like button. This is content that you enjoy. I'd recommend subscribing to the channel. And with that being said, have a wonderful day, night, evening, wherever you are. Have a good one.